Alright everyone, Not So Slim Jim here, making a little bit different video than I normally do. I'm not a vlogger at all, even though technically this is a voice blog, but anyways, my first one, so really don't know what I'm doing here. The lighting may not be the greatest. I'm just taking a smoke break outside. It's Thanksgiving and taking a break from prepping. But I wanted to kind of touch on something that I see a lot of people talking about, but they don't seem to really know the background of. And that's something that's really popular nowadays in America, and that's talking about the different genders. You know, a lot of people have this idea that there's an infinite amount of genders, you know, and not just, you know, the usual male, female. Which obviously you got to look at people who, you know, every now and then you have that 1 in a million, so who are born with both male and female genitalia, which hermaphrodites do happen from time to time. But for the most part, you have males and you have females. That's what we have in the species. That's just science. It's how it is. But I want to give a little background about how this all came about, because believe it or not, I grew up in a very, very liberal area. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin, which is one of the most liberal cities in America. I don't know if you watch my videos. Every now and then you might hear my little Wisconsin accent come out, you know, don't you know, Jose? But I grew up with that, and I am actually pro-LGBT. I don't add all the extra crap on because I don't think it exists. You know, I'm pro-gay rights. I'm actually a feminist, but I consider myself a classic feminist. I believe in equality, not women getting preferential or extra treatment over men. I believe everyone should be equal. Between sexuality, between genders, between races. Everyone should be treated the same based upon their merit and what they do in their life and their actions and so on and so on. Sorry, I'm a smoker. Not doing this for effect. This is my smoke break and I decided to make a video. But I'd be growing up in a very liberal, democratic controlled city, and being kind of an activist, as you can see in my other videos. I did a lot of activism when I was younger, in my teens as well. I used to work for, or I shouldn't say work for, volunteered with a company called Briar Patch back in Madison, Wisconsin, which was an organization that had kind of a wide spectrum what they did. They did like crisis counseling and family interventions, and the part I worked with at-risk youth, especially those in the LGBT community. Now, me being a straight male, you know, I wasn't much of the outreach person versus those who were gay or lesbian, but at the same time, I still went through the same training. I still went there and helped them, and we went all across Wisconsin. We even went out to D.C., and, you know, we did a lot of what we call peer education, where basically it's teens helping teens, because, you know, they're confused, and a lot of times they're coming out and they're not really sure of their sexuality. So we kind of help counsel them and talk to them, and, you know, especially from smaller towns, they might not have allies to talk to, so we did that for them. We even went as far as teaching sex ed classes in high school, which was, you know, when you're not much older than me, you're too older teaching sex ed to kids, it's kind of wild. But anyways, we learned a lot about sexuality, especially in the gay and lesbian community. And one of the things we touched on was gender roles. No, not gender identity, gender roles. When you're, especially like, let's take a gay or lesbian couple, and let's say they're, you know, we use the phrases lipstick lesbian and the more masculine lesbian. A lot of times, not always, when you have that, or even with men, you'll have a more feminine male and a more masculine male. Not always. There will be a certain amount. There's like a spectrum where you can go, where you have the absolute feminine and the absolute masculine, where you can have like an infinite back and forth scale that you can pick where you want to be in the femininity or the masculinity, where you can pick where you want to be in your relationship. Now, that doesn't relate to gender. That just is a role you play, and that's how you decide to interact and how you decide to be as a person and how you just go about your daily life. And you might be very, very feminine with, you know, your significant other, your husband, your lover, whoever it may be, in person, but you may act very masculine when you're in normal society. Like I said, there's an infinite number. Now, this was back in late 90s, early 2000s. So that was the concept that the LGBT community had. And that was a very acceptable concept. It's very simple. Is you decide who you are, where you want to be in a relationship, and kind of where you sit on that spectrum versus the person that you're with. Now, obviously, the left is progressive, so they always have to kind of push it further, push it further, push it further. When I was younger, the big thing was, oh, I'm bicurious. And that was the popular thing to be when you're in high school or even in junior high school. And that was the progressive popular thing is, oh, I'm bicurious, I'm bicurious. And most people weren't actually bicurious. They just said they were bicurious or thought they were bicurious because that was the popular accepted norm because of the very liberal area we lived in. So a lot of people came off as bicurious, or even some of the more brazen ones tried experimenting with being bicurious just to try it out. University of Wisconsin-Madison, lots of drinking, especially during the winter. You'd be surprised what you do when you're drunk. Me personally didn't really try it, but other people did. Whatever, your own cup of tea. So that was the popular thing. Fast forward 15 years, and now it's one of those ones that those same people who had the idea of, okay, well, that's what it was, they're teaching this to the new generation, because obviously the people who learned that growing up in college are now the ones who have masters or teaching and professors and so, and they taught it to the new generation of people who are liberal, and they're telling them what it is. And of course, progressive always has to push it further and further and further. So they're believing that now, oh well, it's a sexuality, it's a gender. I gotta push it further, and I gotta be unique, and I gotta be special, and it's my thing. So instead of just realizing it's not just it's a role is what it is, but they're trying to make it into a complete identity. So instead of just accepting it as who they are, they're trying to force it upon other people by calling it a gender. Bunny ears, bunny ears, bunny ears. And that's the issue we come across now, is now people are confusing an individual identity as a physical gender. And it's not a physical gender. I can't just think I'm a woman and all of a sudden I have a vagina and breasts. In fact, I kind of have breasts. We'll talk about that another time. But that's the confusion that people have, and that's the big issue with liberalism, is people are told, hey, just because you believe it, it'll come true, or just because you want it, it's there. And they need to realize that that's not how the world works. And these people are young, and they're in college, and they're taught that, just want it enough and it's there, and you're a unique little butterfly, snowflake, whomever, whatever little thing you want to tell them. And just because it is, it's there. Just like communism, socialism, all these other stuff, they don't understand what it really is, but they have this raw concept of it. So because they have a concept of it, they believe that it's automatically true. So anyways, that's the beginning of this whole gender fluidity, billion, LGBTQAB, CBDD, 2475, whatever the hell it is stuff. And all these people who believe that they're billions of random stuff. It's not there. It's simple. You're male, you're female. If you want to pick your role in a relationship and where you are as a person and your role back and forth, that's fine. But that doesn't change your gender. Simple as that. And as usual, questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and leave it in the comments section. I'm sure I'm probably going to get some nasty ones on this, but that's what happens on YouTube, and we can discuss. Y'all have a great day. Have a happy Thanksgiving.